Home and away spoilers: Tane and Harper's heartbreaking baby news. Next week on Home and Away in the UK, Harper and Tane find themselves with a difficult decision to make, after learning that their unborn baby is in serious danger. In this week's episodes, Harper attended a routine 26-week ultrasound at Northern Districts Hospital alongside sister Dana, when sonographer Magda stepped out in order to get a doctor's opinion on something. After looking at Harper's scan, Dr. Shaw confirmed that she could see some shadowing near the baby's lung lining, and wished to consult with her colleagues before making a decision on what steps to take next. When Dana attempted to find out more, she overheard Dr. Shaw on the phone requesting for a specialist to be brought in urgently, having had no experience with this sort of case previously. Luckily, there did happen to be someone who might be able to help, as a call was put in to cardiothoracic surgeon Levi. Levi was stunned when he looked at the scan, never having seen the diagnosis in someone so small. Calling in Harper and Tane, Levi informed them that their baby has a cyst on his lung, and whilst they still had to run some more tests, he confirmed that it could be serious. Next week, Levi and Dr. Shaw explained that it's a benign lung lesion known as a cystic adenomatoid malformation, or CCAM. The cyst could put pressure on the baby's developing organs if it continues to grow, with the worst-case scenario being that it could cause fetal heart failure. Levi is hopeful that it will remain as is, however, and they can operate once the baby is born. As Harper heads off for more tests to determine the structure of the cyst, Tane confides in Levi that he had a nephew who died young, Cowrie, the son of his late brother Ari and Mia, and that they never found out the cause. Seeing that Tane is worried that this is something that could be hereditary, Levi assures him that that isn't the case. Unfortunately, the high-res scans don't bring the news that they'd hoped. The cyst is much larger than first anticipated, and Levi explains that there are two options. Either they closely monitor the situation and hope that it doesn't grow further, which could put both Harper and the baby's life at risk, or they could perform an in utero operation to remove the cyst completely, which has its own risk of bringing on premature labor. Levi warns them that there's only a short window for the operation to be performed, which means it would have to be within the next 2 weeks. But it seems Harper's mind is already made up. No way is anyone operating on her baby and putting it at risk. Even though her own blood pressure is already pretty high, she wants to wait. When the pair tell Dana and Mackenzie what Harper has decided, Dana points out that the doctors wouldn't have suggested surgery if it wasn't the best option. And when Mac talks with Levi outside, it's clear that he's not comfortable with Harper's decision. Although Tane reassures Harper that it's her decision to make, it's obvious that he is also concerned about waiting. Harper realizes that he wants her to have the surgery. His quietness says it all, but she explains that she'd never forgive herself if something went wrong and she lost the baby. Despite this, Tane still hopes to change her mind, and heads to the farmhouse to seek advice from Levi. Although Levi insists that he must remain impartial, when Tane puts him on the spot and asks what he'd do if Mac was in that situation, Levi relents and admits that he would want her to go ahead with the surgery. Levi worries that he's only made things worse, and later tells Mac that even if Harper did agree to the surgery, he's never done such a rare and risky procedure before, and nor does he know anyone who has. The last thing he'd want is for his first time to be on a friend's baby. Later in the week, having been advised to monitor it at home, Dana's concerned that Harper's blood pressure is still high. As Harper heads for a lie down, she's joined in her room by Tane, who wants to talk further about the surgery, figuring that the cyst could be growing if Harper's BP still hasn't improved. When they're then joined by Dana, Harper begins to feel as though an intervention is occurring, and orders them both out. That evening, Harper confides in Dana that if she goes ahead with the operation and loses the baby, she's worried that she may lose Tane too. The next morning, Harper's blood pressure is even higher, hardly surprising given Dana and Tane are talking to her throughout. And a tearful Harper admits that she doesn't know what to do. Tane suggests asking Levi to come over, who might be able to answer any further questions. On his arrival, Harper explains that her BP is high and she's a bit worried that she hasn't felt the baby today. Thankfully, a quick examination causes the baby to start kicking up a storm, confirming it's okay for now. But Levi is concerned about Harper's BP readings, and after some gentle coaxing from Tane and Dana, she finally agrees to go through with the surgery. As everyone waits to hear the next steps, Levi goes to Mac at Salt and admits that he's a bag of nerves. Mac tries to reassure him, but holding up an olive, he points out that the baby's lungs are no bigger than that, and the cyst he has to operate on is even smaller. After hearing the operation has been scheduled for the very next day, Tane, Dana and Levi accompany a terrified Harper as she's admitted to Northern Districts. Awaiting her call into surgery the next morning, Tane asks Harper if she's thought of any names for their son. Harper tells him that she'd like to name him after her grandfather. And as Tane nods in approval, she asks whether there's any Maori names he would like. Tane suggests using Ari's middle name. Harper loves it, and so it's decided. Their son's forenames will be Archie Wiremu. As the two share that special moment, Levi prepares for Harper's arrival in the operating room. Will everything go to plan? Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more movie spoilers next week. Goodbye and see you again.